Thank you, colleagues. This presentation, it's all about the mediation. Since you know that because of the lockdown, we have lost a lot of time. So the first slide, it's all about the details of our natural science and technology mediation. Okay, let me move to the next slide. This slide, it's all about the vision and mission of Gauteng Department of Education. You know about this. It's long we've been using this mission and vision. Let me move to the next slide. Yeah, this is very much important, colleagues, as well. You must know this. The Gauteng Department of Education strategic goals for 2019 to 2024. We have got 5 goals. So just look at them: early childhood development, promote quality and education across all the classrooms and schools. Number 3, create safe schools that embed social cohesion, patriotism, and non-violence. And then number 4, goal 4, change the education landscape to accelerate relevant and quality learning. And then goal 5, to address the needs of Gauteng youth through development program and increasing youth employability. Let me move to the next. This slide as well, it's all about the roadmap with regards to those strategic goals. So make sure that colleagues, you are well acquainted with this one. Let me move next one. Yes, this one, colleagues, is the most important aspect in which this presentation is all about. This slide, it's presentation outline. We have got number 1, we have got purpose. Number 2, amendments to the content overview for the phase, which is intermediate phase. 3, it's amendment to the annual teaching plan. Since you know that, colleagues, we have lost time, I already mentioned that there are lots of amendment that has been done in trying to make sure that we cover the most important area of our CAPS content. The 4th one, it's amendment to school-based assessment. We have got some amendments here, right? Let's move to them. Right, these are the purpose for this mediation. To mediate the revised natural science and technology annual teaching plan and school-based assessment for grade 4 and 6. This is the main thing that we are here for, right? To establish meaningful teaching and learning process for the remaining teaching time as per the revised school calendar for 2020. To enable teachers to cover the essential core content or skills in each grade within the available time. And to show outline of the content for this grade. Thank you. Let me move to the next. Right, is the content overview for the phase, intermediate phase. Term 1, colleagues, let's look. In grade 4, 5, 6, we are done with term 1. Fortunate enough, when we go to the lockdown, we're already done, learners were already assessed, and then you have administered the test and everything, even reporting, it is already done, meaning that we don't have the problem or challenge with regards to term 1. Let's move to term 2 and see the overview. Term 2, we are going to look at materials around us for grade 4. And then in grade 5, it's metals and non-metals. That is the first topic. The second topic will be uses of metals, meaning that in grade 5, in the second term, we are going to deal with 2 topics only. Right, let's move to grade 6 and see what topics are we going to deal with there. We're going to deal with 3 topics here. The first one is solid, liquid, and gases. And then the second topic is mixture. The third one is solution as spatial mixture. Right, let's move to term 3. Colleagues, if you can look at term 3 there, the information that is there in term 3, Most of them, they're just coming from term 2, because what it has been done here is to make sure that they have shifted the most important content or the topics that must be dealt with, and then we spread them to the 3 terms: term 2, 3, and 4. Let's look at term 3 on what we have there. In term 3, it's a continuation, since materials around arts, it has got a long content. So that topic spread from term 2 to term 3. Materials around us in grade 4, and then solid materials. The last topic is strengthening materials. Let's look at grade 5. The topics that you are going to deal with is usage of metals, processing materials, processed materials. There are 3 topics here. Grade 6. In grade 6, we have got 4 topics: dissolving, mixture and water resources. The third one, process to purify water. And then the last one, it's electric circuits. Right. We are through with term 3. Let's go down to term 4. Term 4, grade 4. The topics that we are going to deal with here, it's energy and energy transfer, and then energy around us, and energy and sound. Then let's move to grade 5 and see what we have there. Stored energy in fuels, energy and electricity, energy and movement. And last one is system for moving things. I think this one, that this one is technology part of it. And then we go to grade 6. We are going to look at electric conductors and insulator as the first topic. The second one will system to solve problems. And the last one with the mains electricity, the mains of electricity. Right, thank you. This is the end of content overview. Let us move to amendments to the content overview for the phase. Here on the amendments, let's look what has been amended here. The revised Natural Science and Technology ATPs has the same content as in CAPS. Since well, you know that, colleagues, when we deal with the ATPs, we just consider the curriculum policy, which is a CAPS document. It's the same. It's just that there are some reduction, right? The second one will be the remaining content does establish requisite and skills to proceed with the learning of science concept in the senior phase. Right, colleagues, you know that when we prepare learners in the intermediate phase, we are just preparing them for senior phase, meaning that when learners leave, by the time they leave an intermediate phase, they must have acquired the knowledge and skills that will enable them to just learn when they move to the senior phase. Right. The other bullet here, content in some topics has been reduced and some topics have been cut out completely. Here, colleagues, as I've indicated that you have already lost time, some of the topics that are not much important has been left out, are not included in this mediation, so that at the end of the day, we're able to deal with the most important topics. Right. And then the other one, content for planet Earth and beyond, has been removed completely. You'll see, colleagues, when we look at this, you'll find that planet Earth and beyond, it's not there. It has been taken out completely, meaning that teachers don't have to focus on this one. Just leave it for this year. Right. Knowledge strands, matter and materials, and energy and change flow over to term 3 and 4 respectively. Here, colleagues, is what I showed you on the overview that some of the work from term 2, term 3, and term 4, they have spread to term 3 and 4. But I showed you there. If you can just look at the slides, you'll find them. textbook can be used as they are, noting the omitted content in revised natural science and technology ATPs. Colleagues, textbook is there for us to use as a references. Let us make sure that when we use a textbook, we make sure that we consult the ATPs and as well as the government. Because if you have realized, if you can look at the textbook, sometimes textbooks, they've got more information than the ATPs. And at the end of the day, if you can follow the textbook, you'll end up missing teaching the information that is not necessary. Because in a textbook, there are a lot of information, and some of them you can't even find them in the CAPS document, even the ATPs. Right. Let's move, colleagues, to slide summary of the content. This one, colleagues, is very clear. It guides you on which one you must do and which one you mustn't do it. Let's look at the content according to our terms. Materials around us, deal with them in term 2. Materials around us, it's a continuation to term 3. Solid materials, term 3. Strengthening material, term 3. All this has been retained, right? But let's go down there and look at the strong frame structure. This one, it's completely removed, colleagues, meaning that you don't have to teach it, just leave it. Right. In term 4, again, we have got energy and transfer. It's retained, that one. Energy around us, retained. Movement energy in the system. Colleagues, ignore this. It's been removed for this year. Right. And then lastly, we have got energy and sound in term 4. This is retained, meaning that, colleagues, this, if you can look at this content, it's already there. Just to make sure that you do understand what you teach, what you mustn't teach. Okay, we're done with this, colleagues. Let's move to the next slide. This is informal assessment. This information, colleagues, it's all about the informal assessment. Informal assessment shall continue as normal and as stated in the revised Natural Science and Technology ATP, which is no different from CAPS. Right, follow that one, colleagues. At every opportunity, science processing skills should be developed and assessed in the teaching and learning of the subject. Recording of informal assessment is left to the discretion of the teacher. Learners should read and write regularly to develop language skills. Colleagues, please. Normally, in all our cluster meeting, I used to advise teachers that, colleagues, before you start with any term topics, make sure that you just go to the end of term each and every term on the assessment policy, that is a CAPS document. You'll find that there are assessment guidelines. Those guidelines, colleagues, they will just tell you exactly what you must assess. If you can look at the end of every term, those assessment guidelines will tell you that learners should read and write regularly to develop language skill. It is there always, meaning that always when we teach, colleagues, we must make sure that learners are engaged in reading and writing regularly. Before even we just look at the other skills which are there. But this one, they are already there in each and every section. Thank you, colleagues. Make sure that you consider this. Let us move to the next slide, colleagues. Right, amendment school-based assessment. Here, colleagues, I'll just move to the next slide. You'll see what's there. Here, summary of the revised program of assessment. Term 1, colleagues, there is no amendment because we're already done with this one. Look here, assessment task administered and reported on. You have done this. We start in term 2, 3, and 4. In term 2, test on term 2 work only, meaning that when you test learners, you test them on term 2 work only. Right. Let's go to term 3. The same applies. When you test learners, you test them on term 3 work only. Right. Term 4, you test learners on term 3 and term 4 work. Right. As you are testing them, colleagues, you are going to follow this distribution below. In term 3, the term 3 work will comprise of 40%, and the term 4 work will comprise of 60%. Thank you, colleagues. Let's move. Oh, colleagues, it means we are done. In the absence of the way forward, colleagues, thank you so much. Right.